The smell of hot fries filled the small roadside diner, sharp and comforting at the same time. It made her stomach tighten, not from hunger alone, but from the quiet fear that came with counting every dollar twice. Emily Carter sat at a corner table, smoothing the worn sleeve of her jacket while her 6-year-old son, Noah, swung his legs beneath the chair, humming softly to himself. His eyes followed every plate that passed by, especially the ones piled high with golden fries. They had already shared one small burger, cut neatly in half, and one glass of water. Emily had promised herself she wouldn't ask for anything more. Pride, thin as it was, still mattered. But Noah hadn't eaten properly since yesterday morning, and the way his little hand rested on his stomach made her chest ache. Across from them, at the next table, sat a man alone. He wore a simple grey coat. No watch, no signs of wealth. Just tired eyes and a posture that suggested he was used to being invisible. A large tray sat in front of him. Burger, fries, soda untouched. He stared out the window as if the world outside was heavier than the one inside. Emily hesitated. She could feel her heart pounding, her throat tightening. She had asked strangers for help before, and every time it took something from her. But Noah leaned closer and whispered, barely audible, "Mom, fries smell good." That was it. She stood, knees weak, and walked toward the man's table. Her voice trembled, but she forced the words out. "Excuse me, sir," she said softly. "I'm so sorry to bother you. My son is very hungry. Can we share your fries? Just a few. I'll understand if you say no." The man turned, surprised. He looked from Emily's anxious face to Noah's hopeful eyes, peeking from behind her coat. For a moment, no one spoke. Emily felt the familiar burn of shame creep up her neck. She was already preparing to apologize, to walk away, to tell Noah it was okay. Instead, the man smiled. Not politely, warmly. "Of course," he said, sliding the tray toward them. "You don't need to ask like that. Please, sit." Emily froze. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure," he replied. "Actually, why don't you both eat? I wasn't that hungry anyway." Noah's eyes lit up as if someone had turned on the sun. He climbed into the chair without waiting for permission and carefully picked up a fry, as if afraid it might disappear. Emily's eyes filled with tears she tried hard to hide. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have no idea what this means." The man watched Noah eat, something shifting behind his calm expression. He asked simple questions. Noah's favorite color, his favorite superhero. Emily answered when she could, explaining how they had moved to the city recently, how things were just a little hard right now. The man nodded, listening closely. When the bill came, he quietly paid it all before Emily noticed. As they stood to leave, he reached into his coat and handed Noah a small paper bag filled with extra fries. "For later," he said gently. Emily held her son's hand tighter than ever, unaware that the man she had just met was one of the wealthiest people in the country, and that this small moment would change all of their lives. Emily thought that would be the end of it, a brief kindness from a stranger, in a city full of passing faces. That night, Noah fell asleep clutching the paper bag like a treasure, smiling in his dreams. Emily sat on the edge of the bed, replaying the man's voice, his eyes, the way he had looked at her son as if he truly mattered. The next morning, everything felt the same worries, same empty fridge, same stack of unpaid bills on the counter. Emily got Noah ready for school, kissed his forehead, and promised herself she would keep going. She always did. What she didn't expect was the knock on the door. 2 men in dark suits stood outside her small apartment, their expressions serious but respectful. Panic rose in her chest. "Ms. Emily Carter?" One of them asked. "Yes. Our employer would like to speak with you. It's regarding last night." Her heart dropped. Had she done something wrong? Had the diner called someone? She glanced at Noah, confused and scared. "I can't leave my son," she said firmly. "That won't be necessary," the man replied. "He'll come too." They drove her to a glass building that touched the sky, a place Emily had only seen on the news. The lobby alone made her feel small. People rushed by with coffee cups and laptops, and every step echoed her fear. Then the elevator doors opened. The man from the diner stood there. No grey coat this time, just a crisp suit and calm eyes. "Good morning, Emily," he said kindly. "Noah." Noah smiled instantly. "You're the fries guy." The man laughed softly. "I guess I am." Emily stared at him, realization slowly sinking in as she noticed the portraits on the wall, the way everyone seemed to know him. You're him," she whispered. "The billionaire. I saw you on TV once." "Yes," he admitted. "But last night, I was just a man with too many fries." He invited them into his office, warm and simple despite the height and view. He listened as Emily spoke about losing her husband, about working 2 jobs, about trying to stay strong for her son. She never asked for help. She didn't need to. "I didn't bring you here out of pity," he said when she finished. "I brought you here because your courage reminded me of something I'd forgotten." He explained how he had grown up poor, how hunger had shaped his childhood, how people had walked past him when he needed the most. "I want to help," he said simply. "Not just today. Long term. Education for Noah. A stable job for you. A home you don't have to fear losing." Emily's hand shook. "Why us?" "Because you asked for fries," he replied. "And because you taught your son to ask with kindness, not entitlement." Tears streamed down Emily's face as Noah climbed into her lap. For the first time in years, hope didn't feel dangerous. Life didn't change overnight, but it changed steadily. Like the sun rising after a long, cold night. Emily was given a position at one of the Billionaire's foundations. Work that mattered, work that respected her. Noah was enrolled in a school where his curiosity was celebrated, not ignored. Yet the man, Mr. Harrison, never let them forget one thing. This wasn't charity, he reminded Emily one afternoon as they sat in the same diner months later. This was humanity. They came back often, always ordering extra fries. Sometimes, Harrison would sit quietly and watch families pass by, his eyes searching, not for gratitude, but for moments of quiet need. One evening, a little girl approached their table, clutching her mother's hand. Emily saw the hesitation, the fear she knew too well. "Can we share your fries?" The child asked shyly. Emily smiled, sliding the plate forward before the mother could speak. "Of course," she said gently. "Sit with us." Harrison watched, emotion tightening his chest. Later, Noah asked, "Mom, why do we always share?" Emily kissed his hair. "Because someone once shared with us when we had nothing." Years later, people would talk about Harrison's generosity, his donations, his scholarships, his programs for struggling families. But he always said the same thing when reporters asked what changed him. "A little boy asked for fries," he would say, and his mother asked with dignity. And somewhere in a small diner, kindness continued to travel from table to table, proof that sometimes the smallest requests carry the greatest power.